Welcome, Capricorn and Capricorn cross watchers, to your love reading for January 2024. So, we already have the overall energy from the big deck, and then we have some advice and what to expect that we'll turn over at the end. So, we have the Page of Swords reversed here with the Ace of Cups. We're going to get into. So you have the Magician reversed. Interesting. It kind of looks like you are a little bit dumbfounded with what's going on. But I feel like you're wise enough to kind of give this situation a second to figure out what's going on. It's almost like something is starting to turn or something is starting to change in the situation here, and you're looking at it like, I don't. Not that you don't know what's going on necessarily, but it's more like you are. It feels like you're at least willing to give the situation a second for you to figure out if what's changing is for the better or what's changing is going to make you want to, cut the ties that bind, if you will. I feel like this other person is very, they feel very youthful, kind of exuberant. It feels like it's someone that is very, just that kind of like upbeat, youthful, nothing really gets them down. It feels like it's somebody that to the world may seem like they're kind of impervious to hardship. I mean, obviously that's not reality, right? But it does feel like that to other people at least. Hold on for a second. We're going to get one more for there. Then we have the King of Swords at the bottom. So on your end, we have the Magician reversed, King of Cups, Three of Wands. Your person has the Four of Wands, Empress, Six of Pentacles, and Two of Pentacles. So, I kind of feel like you're going to be giving this person a little bit of stink eye, if you will, or side eye, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like that's because this person is going to be presenting some sort of information to you in a way that makes it seem like it's almost like bare bones. There isn't much to it. It feels like it's I almost want to say like a dire situation, kind of like hanging on by a thread. And I feel like you're looking at them like, excuse me, no. It's almost like, just to describe the energy, let's say, for example, your person just got a bonus at work and they're trying to tell you that they can't pay for, let's say the two of you were going out for coffee and they had agreed to pay. It's like they're going to tell you they just got thousands of dollars for a bonus, but they're going to stand there with a straight face and tell you like, oh, you know what? I just don't think I can afford this coffee. Like it just seems very, and you're looking at them like, what are you even talking about? You know what I mean? It just seems very like, I think there's a word for it, but it's escaping me right now. It's like where two opposing information that would lead you to two very different conclusions is coming in at the same time. I think there is a term for it, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, so let's get into your person here. What do they think about you? I mean, the Four of Wands and the Empress. The Four of Wands is that, it usually is that 11/11 kind of celebration card. And the Empress, of course, is that divine feminine kind of unconditional love sort of thing. And so I feel like this person, okay, I'm sorry to say, I feel like they may have some unfortunate tie to a past toxic situation, but I feel like part of them doesn't want to let go of that toxic situation. It's like they enjoy when it kind of pulls them in. This may not be for everybody, okay? So I just want to say that. If they don't have a tie to the past, it actually feels like when they compare the toxic past to what they have with you, this is the difference that they feel, right? They felt tied to the past, whereas they feel very free even when they're with you. Whereas I feel like there was a certain expectation, there was a certain, okay, the word standard here, please let me explain. So this person was held to a certain standard. However, it feels like it was a very superficial standard, right? It's like their hair had to be done in a certain way. If this person wears makeup, their makeup had to be done to a certain standard, and it wasn't your person's standard, it was someone else's, right? It's like they always had to have some sort of presence or something about them in order for them to be accepted or kind of presented as, like with this past person, it's like in order for them to be presented as someone that's involved with this person, they had to always maintain this certain look. That may not have been actual physical looks. It might have been a different element, right? But it's the concept is the same. They had to be this in order to be recognized as this toxic person's partner. And it seems like with you, that they can just be themselves. However, it feels like they might be, there's almost a little bit of energy of them thinking that they can just do anything that they want. And that's not the case either, right? So it's not like you're going to come in and control them and mold and form them into exactly what you want, right? You're going to obviously give this person the freedom to be who they are, but they also can't take advantage of the fact that that you kind of accept them as they are, right? It's like they still have a certain amount of, I want to say, like personal responsibility. And I feel like they might be playing a little bit fast and loose with that right now. And it's almost like, going back to what the cards were saying before, you're looking at them like, I don't really understand what's going on here. I feel like that energy is you looking at them like, I know that this person's capable of more, but they're acting in this type of way. And so you're trying to like evaluate, I feel like you're looking at the situation, trying to figure out what the deal is with this person. It's almost like it's actually kind of impressive the way that you're looking at it, because you're able to look at what's going on with this person. It's almost like you're kind of able to block out all of the pre-existing information that you have about this person, and you're just looking at them as they are now, trying to gauge what's going on with them, where they're at. And I feel like you're just trying to figure out what's going on right now. I feel like it's like you're doing your best not to judge them, or at least pass judgment, right? But whatever's going on here, like it can't get out of control, is what it feels like. So, this person feels really disconnected from you. It's almost like in this past situation, just to describe the energy, it may not be the actual situation. It feels like this person from their past was very controlling and very restrictive and gave them very, let's say strict guidelines that had to, like, the guidelines is the words that was used, but really they were like rules, hard and fast rules that had to be followed. And it's almost like this person may be feeling a little bit out of sorts or out of balance with the freedom that they have now with you, right? It's like they're used to having certain parameters that they have to operate within, and they don't have that anymore. And it's almost given them this energy of feeling disconnected from other people. You know what it feels like? It's like if this, again, I certainly hope that this isn't the case. It's just to describe the energy. It's like if this person is used to being in toxic, abusive, controlling relationships, and then they get into a relationship where that isn't the case, where it's healthy, it's like they're kind of looking at it like, they don't really understand what's going on either, because without the turmoil and the chaos and the control and all that, manipulation and mind games, they're looking at it like they don't really understand what's going on. So there's a lot of confusion on both ends, but from very different places, very different perspectives. They don't understand why things, it's almost like, this is terrible. I don't even want to say that. They don't understand why you're being so nice to them. You know what I mean? It's like they're looking at you like, what's, part of them is wondering what your angle is. And that's not a statement on you, or what you've presented to them or what they think of you as a person. It's a statement on what they've experienced previously. And so it's almost like this person is looking at you like, is this what a real relationship feels like? And it does feel a little bit, I'm going to be honest, I feel like they're kind of testing you. It's almost like that's where this them wanting to present themselves as having less than they do, right? It's like they're going to say they can't pay for that coffee even though they just got that big bonus, because they're trying to figure out what's going on. I'm going to be honest, it feels a little bit like this person may be trying to provoke you in a sense, not for something big to happen or anything terrible, okay? It just feels like they're trying to act in almost kind of like divergent ways from what would be normally expected to see what your reaction is. It feels like it's almost like they're testing to see if you're going to get angry. They're testing to see if you're going to, how you're going to handle things. And it's like there's a difference between being annoyed or even getting angry at somebody, but then expressing that to them and like, hey, I don't really understand what's going on here, but I think we need to talk about this, rather than, let's say, for example, if they were in an abusive connection, then being yelled at or humiliated or whatever it was that they experienced before. So it's almost like because you're so different from what they've had, they're trying to figure out if it's all an act. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like that's all subconscious for them. It doesn't feel like they're looking at you thinking like, oh, psh, Capricorn for sure is going to play me. Like it's nothing like that. It's more like they're not really even aware that that's what they're doing. So I feel like half of the time you get the genuine version of them, and the other half of the time you get this version of them that's like, what are you doing? And I feel like that's where that kind of, I want to say cognitive dissonance, but I don't think that's actually the word, but it's where you have, information that would support two different conclusions at the same time. And I feel like that's where a lot of this, like, what the heck is going on sort of energy, like that's what's creating that feeling for you. So in your headspace, we have the Magician reversed, which is, I feel like that's just kind of speaks to what the cards were talking about before with this person. The Magician energy is that it's the moment after the decision has been made, right? It's the moment after the Fool where like the new beginning has presented itself, or the new thought plan has presented itself, and now the Magician is pulling that energy in, but you're not, right? I feel like you're looking at this situation in the same way that they are subconsciously evaluating how you're going to react to certain things. I feel like you are consciously evaluating what exactly is going on here. And it's almost like, and if you are, I almost said if you're equipped to handle it, but I feel like you are. It's more a matter of, do you want to handle it? Is this something that you are interested in dealing with? It's almost like, this is just an example. This obviously isn't the case for everybody, right? But it's like, if you see that this person is ready, willing, and capable of changing, I feel like even that isn't enough. It's really more like whether they are or not obviously plays a part in the decision, but I feel like it's more whether or not you even want to, kind of deal with this or get involved with this situation. it's either you have been in a similar position before, or you've seen someone in a similar position before where they kind of, it's like you're just wondering if this is maybe a little bit too messy to get involved with, is really what I'm seeing. So we have the Three of Wands. Sorry, of course, we have the King of Cups for how you feel about this person. And I feel like you have a lot of compassion. That's for sure. I feel like at first you were, I almost said at first you were looking at it differently, but that doesn't actually feel right either. It feels like you've been kind of carefully evaluating the situation from the get-go. And I feel like you have developed a certain affection for this person and that sort of thing. But in the typical King of Cups fashion, which is someone that's very emotionally mature, someone that has a very good control over their emotions, I feel like out of sheer will, you're not allowing yourself to fall for this person unless or until enough information becomes available to show you that it's, that like, not that it's worth it necessarily, but that it's not going to take more from you than you're able or willing to give right now. And I feel like that's kind of why you're holding your heart back from this person. Three of Wands talks about, that's the energy of, you know, waiting for your ships to come in, waiting for more information to be presented. And honestly, I feel like you're not really getting the information that you need from this person or this situation because they keep presenting with opposing information. So I feel like you actually may be consulting. It's almost like maybe you'll spend some time in meditation. Maybe some of you will literally, like the card, will like sit by the water. I mean, where I am, it's freezing. So that's maybe there are the polar bear swims, right? It just kind of feels like there's going to be, it almost feels like it's going to come to you when you're in a very relaxed state. It feels like there's going to be something that happens. It could be with like a pet, just from the cat on the card there. It might be something as simple as you may have like a meal delivered. This might be very specific, but you'll kind of have this meal delivered. And as you're eating, you'll kind of think like, oh, you know what? I wish I was with this person. It would be a lot more fun if they were here. It's that type of an energy. It just feels like, not necessarily that you make the decision with like, oh, F it, I'm just going to do this thing. I feel like you kind of allow that decision to present itself to you, if that makes sense. So we're going to get into these cards here. So we have the Two of Swords, King of Swords, and the Devil. Okay. So we have advice and what to expect. Here's the thing. The Devil energy in this deck talks about lust, really. And I'm going to be honest here, Capricorn. I feel like the lust, it's almost like this person's energy isn't very good at masking the lust that they have, but I feel like you actually may even be masking some of the lust that you have for this person. It's like you're masking it, kind of denying it yourself. And I feel like even if, just for argument's sake, even if you were to decide that you didn't want to be involved with this person, the lust is going to keep you looking at them. If it continues to stay masked, right? Because if you, it's almost like If you are unable or unwilling to see that, and obviously you would be attracted to this person if it is a romantic connection, right? Obviously you're going to have some sort of attraction to them. Um, it just kind of feels like there's a little bit of a, you kind of want this like really sweet romantic sort of energy with them, but because there's this other complication here, I feel like you're looking at it wondering if it's just going to be another like third party complicated sort of deal. It's almost like here here comes the sunshine. I feel like either way there's going to be some disappointment that's involved here. Regardless of what you decide, it does feel like you're going to be disappointed. And I feel like from what I'm seeing, it actually feels like you may have to a certain extent kind of idealized or had an idyllic vision of a connection with this person. I also feel to a certain extent this person may be used to or very adept at getting what they want out of people using this kind of like, I almost want to say like a brazen physical chemistry sort of energy, but I feel like there's something that's very vulnerable about it. That it's like, although it may be brazen, it doesn't come across that way because there's so much vulnerability in it, like wrapped up in it. I hope this is making sense. So of course, Capricorn, always follow your own intuition over anything I ever say in a reading, because these are generals. From what I'm seeing, it looks like you may have to kind of sit in indecision for a little while. I'm going to be honest, I feel like it feels like you're going to kind of stay in whatever kind of connection this is until you know for sure that it's not going to work out. I feel like part of you, it's almost like part of you doesn't want to admit to yourself that you do actually want this person. It feels like if you do allow yourself to do that, it actually may be easier to kind of pull the information apart, like categorize it and make a decision when you allow yourself to be like, actually, yeah, you know what? I do kind of want them. And I feel like that's because in saying like, you know what? I am kind of staying in this situation because I do really want this person. I feel like that's, this might sound strange, but it's almost like that's when you're able to admit to yourself like some of your own shortcomings. It doesn't feel like you're necessarily the type of person, I don't know where that's coming from. It doesn't feel necessarily like you're the type of person that will stick around even when the situation's bad or anything like that. I feel like that type of energy. Let me ask you something instead of telling you something. Capricorn, do you find that you are someone that you see someone who is kind of like living beneath their potential, and you may sometimes like, do you see those individuals as kind of like a bit of a project sometimes, looking at it like I can get them there, and maybe you can. And I feel like it may be, I'm going to invite you to consider the importance of what the cards were saying that you were kind of seeing before. Maybe you can help this person. Maybe you can do this or that with them. But do you want to? And are you willing to make the sacrifices to do so? So I think I'll leave it there, Capricorn. It's already at 25 minutes. I'm sorry I've been talking for so long. So if this reading resonated, I hope it was helpful. I love you guys and I wish you all the best, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.